gathered here today to remember a great president. I want to thank Barry for suggesting this. It's Barry's idea that we should do this every year, and we intend to do this as a group. President Kennedy, I think, meant something different to all of us. He was a great man who saved the world from nuclear war. I think if another president had been in the White House at the time, we may not actually be standing here now, and I think we have a lot to thank him for. On another aspect, I want to thank you, the members of DPUK, and I seriously say this because you've been very good friends to me. I've made many friends over the last 10 years since I've been a member of DPUK. We've got a lot in common. Everybody I talk to are kind, they're considerate, and I count every single one of you as a friend, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be a member along with the rest of you, and may we continue to seek the truth out for, as Barry has said, for many, many years to come, until we realize exactly what did happen on that terrible day on the 22nd of November 1963. Thank you.
We are all here today to commemorate the 51st anniversary of the death of President John F. Kennedy. But it's very important to realise that there are some who say, after more than 50 years, that it's time to consign President Kennedy to history. Time to lay the controversy surrounding his assassination to rest. For we will never know the truth about his death, so does it really matter now? I believe it does. And the truth will be revealed. It must, for we owe it to JFK's memory. The world is very different from what it was in the early 1960s. But the ideals and sentiments that John F. Kennedy stood for are still relevant 51 years after his death, and indeed for all time. Mankind seems to be destined to forget the lessons that history teaches us, and we continue to repeat the mistakes of the past. President Kennedy believed that this does not have to be the case. On June the 10th, 1963, at the American University in Washington, John F. Kennedy gave what was perhaps his finest speech, possibly the finest any leader has given. He spoke a few months after the world stood at the brink of nuclear war. His topic was world peace, not as an abstract concept, but genuine peace, a kind of peace which makes life on earth worth living. Among the words he used were a few lines which are rich in their simplicity as well as their significance. Speaking about the animosity between nations, he said, "Let us not be blind to our differences, but let us also direct attention to our common interests and the means by which those differences can be resolved. And if we cannot end now our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal." President Kennedy's own mortality became only too apparent a few months after he expressed those sentiments. But his words and his ideals are immortal. I believe the speech he gave on that day should be compulsive reading for all the world's leaders. President Kennedy died before his time, but his ideals and vision of peace did not die with him. We and future generations are the heirs to his legacy, and we all have a responsibility to ensure that those ideals and vision are realised, and that his tragic death was not in vain.
Bon